AI is all the rage these days. Everyone's talking about it, and you've probably had a wealth of information about it, and you may or may not be using it correctly. So stay tuned to understand what AI really is and what it's not, and how to use it effectively in your business. Welcome to Biz Success in 15. I'm your host, Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and I'm here to guide you as you step into who you are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits. You can grab your visibility checklist at visibilitychecklist.com. And today we're going to be speaking about the AI do's and don'ts. So, first of all, what is AI? Because AIs became a huge part of our lives and our businesses. We have chat boxes, we have Alexas, we have self-driving cars, and they are changing the way that we live and the way that we work. AI is simply a tool that can improve our performance and technology. Artificial intelligence in of itself is the science of making machines that can think like humans. It can do things that are considered smart. It leverages computers and machines to mimic the problem solving and decision making capabilities of the human mind. With that being said, we have a subconscious and a conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is where we hold all of our memories, but it's also where all of our feelings and our emotions come from. And they're portrayed, outwardly in the conscious level. Now, AI does not mimic our emotions. It can't actually mimic a person. It can make smart decisions and it can analyze data. So it's sort of like that logical part of your brain that can sit there and say 2 plus 2 is 4, but it can't delve into the emotions. Now, remember that AI is perfectly capable of generating all of your content, 100%, your blog posts, your landing pages, and images from scratch. But it cannot replicate you. And even though something can do something, it doesn't mean it should be utilized that way. Know that people, whenever they purchase your products and services, they're not buying it because of this wealth of information. They're buying it because of you, because they like your personality. They like you as a person. And guess what? AI doesn't have a personality, but you do. So it cannot replace you. It cannot replace your personality. And people purchase your products and services because they believe that you can help them solve their problems. They're not just looking for information. Information is everywhere online today. It's so easy to find. It's mind-boggling how much information we have access to in today's world. So know that there's 3 types of AI that's currently being utilized. So the first type is called reactive AI. And reactive AI, that's what analyzes data and it makes suggestions based on this data. It has no memory and each task is specific. Examples include how Netflix recommends shows for you. So it analyzes all the data that about everything that you've watched or liked on Netflix. So it makes recommendations based on that. Your recommendations are going to be totally different than mine because we watch different things. And also, this is like everywhere. One of my favorite memes is of a dog looking at the TV, and the TV has a commercial of dog bones, and it says, "How did they know that I wanted that?" Right? And that's what AI is doing, like with Amazon. You look at something at Amazon, all of a sudden this product is all over your feed, regardless what website you go to. And all of this is based on AI, and it is reactive AI. It's based on what you have done. It doesn't remember things forever, but it gives you suggestions based on what you have done. The second type of AI is limited memory. And limited memory monitors and observes behaviors to improve performance. It's not saved in a memory, and it's sort of as it's happening, and it does not learn from it. You may remember that old TV show or movie, War Games. It was a big hit back in the 80s, and it was all about this kid accidentally started a simulation of a war because he hacked into the government's computer. And so he was trying to unteach it because he thought he was playing a game, but in reality, we were starting a nuclear war. And so he went to the owner or the person that created this computer, and he had to keep playing chess to make the computer learn that sometimes the best action is no action. So it's a really cute show, but this is what limited memory AI does, because it's not learning. It's just based stuff on the facts. And self-driving cars is an example of this. Self-driving cars, they observe how close other cars are to you. They observe the lights. They observe the road, what they can observe on the roadway. If there's an obstacle in your path, it'll stop, right? Things like that. So this isn't, but it doesn't learn from all of this stuff. It is a limited memory, and it acts in the present moment. The third type of AI, and this is the type of AI that we're talking about today, is generative AI. And ChatGPT and the like, they're tools. They're tools that allow us, the users, input prompts to receive human-like images, text, or videos that's created by AI. And it's sophisticated. It's sort of like an autocomplete. Like if you search in Google, I've been watching the old series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. And so sometimes I'll Google something like season or 24, season 5, who is, and Google automatically will put in who is the mole, right? So therefore, that's what AI is doing. That's what ChatGPT is doing. And the reason that they're so impressive is because it's the training data consists of the entire internet. So everything that's been input inside of this is based on everything that's on the internet. Like that's a massive, massive amount of data. I mean, sometimes we talk about the computers in the 60s, so they filled these big rooms. Well, something like this today would probably fill an entire state, right? If it had to rely on those big giant computers that were back in the 60s and 70s. So note that chat boxes, they employ a variety of technologies, from machine learning that optimizes responses over time to language processing and language understanding that accurately interprets the user questions and matches them to specific incidents. But as I said earlier, it cannot replicate the emotion. It cannot replicate your personality. So we're going to start with the do nots. There's 7 do nots that you should never, ever, ever do in your business. So the first one is something huge, and it's really one of my pet peeves that I see so many people doing, and that's do not rely solely on AI to create all of your content. As I said earlier, just because it can doesn't mean you should use it. AI can make stuff sounding nice, but it can be completely wrong. And also there's some issues of plagiarism, and the content that they produce contains no original research or insights, conclusions, or data. And it definitely does not include your voice. Remember, Your clients are hiring you because of your personality. And if you're just using AI content and you're not changing it at all, you are not utilizing your voice. You're not attracting your ideal clients because you're just using all of this very sophisticated sounding words that you may never use in real life. You need your personality in it. Number two, do not overly rely on AI. I know people that are using AI for all their blog posts, all their social media content, and they're posting it on social media. How I created 365 days worth of social media content in an hour. Click here and I'll show you how. Well, that's all well and said, and you can do it. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. You're overly relying on AI. And if you do that, it will kill your business because you don't have your personality in it. Number three is don't sacrifice quality for quantity. Don't sacrifice quality for quantity. If you might be able to use AI to generate a blog post a day, thinking, hey, I have all this, quantity, but you're sacrificing the quality. You're sacrificing your creativity, your human touch, if you do that. So while producing, gazillions amount of content with AI in less time sounds enticing, as I said earlier, it could hurt your business, and it especially might hurt the quality, especially because number one, I shared that AI is not always correct. So if you're just using AI and you're sharing incorrect information, that can really damage your reputation as a business owner. Number four is use AI to create content on sensitive topics or controversial issues. For example, I work with a few different trauma coaches. They work with very sensitive subjects like, people that have been raped, who have been sexually abused, people who've been in war, people who have been victims of horrific crimes. And if you're trying to research stuff like that, it more than likely is not going to be accurate because AI, a computer, cannot understand the emotional aspects of this trauma, right? The same thing if you're talking about health and you're saying, I read something the other day how neuropathy can be cured, right? And that's a very controversial subject because every doctor will say neuropathy, once you have it, it's there forever. It can't be cured. So if you start trying to Google how to, if you create all these posts on curing neuropathy, it doesn't understand a lot of things, and it may be giving you a lot of incorrect information because it's a controversial subject. If you've ever, searched even like politics are very controversial. I don't care what country you're in. Politics are controversial. And if you are trying to do this, you may not be getting the right information. So don't use it to create content for really sensitive topics or controversial issues. Number five is do not input your personal or confidential information. You don't want to be putting a whole lot of stuff about you, your birthday, where you was born, hey, let's put all this stuff in there and see if we can get our numerology done, right? You don't sit there and give it all of this information because whatever you want to be kept private, you shouldn't be putting inside of a ChatGPT or inside of any public place, social media or anything like that, right? So be very careful what you are using for. Also, do not put in personal information about your clients to find out about them because this is not a good idea. And it actually, you could be breaching somebody's privacy and laws. And, you are held as a coach. If you're a coach, you're held to confidentiality and you need to keep everything personal and you want your own privacy protected as well. Privacy is never going to be what it was like 60, 70 years ago, but there's still a lot of things we can keep private even with everything being online in today's society. Remember, ChatGPT is using everything from the internet. It's not just using blog posts, it's using social media posts, um, it's using blog posts, it's using articles, it's using images, it's using anything and everything that's online. And so if you start putting a lot of personal information in ChatGPT, now it's public for everybody. Or if you put a lot of public information in social media, ChatGPT can get it, or the likes with AI. So do not number 6 is try to game the search engine, try to game the algorithms by using AI. Now, Google says that it is not going to penalize AI created content. However, it still wants you to have excellent content that the readers want to use. And some people have been using AI to try to scam the system. As long as you create good information, good quality content that your users want to read, you're following any search engine out there, because the search engines want the best for their customers. So if you want the best for your customer and you're doing the same thing, then you will be A-OK. And do not number 7, and this is the one that could land you in some legal problems. Want to know what it is? Don't use AI for images. Some people are going to AI, create an image of, of a divorced woman with 4 kids that's, that's struggling financially because her ex-husband isn't paying her alimony or child support, right? So if you put something like that, it's going to create an image for you. But there are some, in a lot of different countries, there's some major copyright issues with the AI art. And there's a lot of uncertainty about the legality of the models that are trained on stolen, copyrighted, or even proprietary imagery. So until all of this is settled, I urge you, do not use AI to generate images for your content. You're so much better off. There's some places online that you can go get some free images. There's also paid things. If you go to cindyjholbrook.com/resources, I have a list of different places where you can get free images that are 100% legal for you to use online. So today, your 15-minute action step to take in the upcoming week is to use ChatGPT for ideas. Generate some ideas. Maybe you can do something like the top 10 questions about your topic. So the top 10 questions about online visibility, or the top 10 questions about having a strong online presence, right? So use that and generate some ideas. You can go deeper with this. You can say, okay, so if one of them is why should I use or people that don't use their images online? So then you can use ChatGPT and say 3 reasons why you should always have a current image of you online. And so now you're getting these 3 reasons, and you can create a blog post out of it. So by creating these 10 different questions that people have, and then asking more questions about each individual question, you can come up with a lot of content that's based on your niche that you can utilize for articles and for social media. Okay. So that is your action step for this week. Really easy, and a lot of you may have already done that. So now we're going to move on to the 3 do's. Number 1, do understand the limitations of AI. Remember, AI is only as good as the information programmed into it. And that information, as I said, comes from the internet. It comes from the programmer. And you don't know what type of biases or personal beliefs that the programmer might have put inside of there. For example, if the programmer is anti-coach, it could have some bad stuff in there, right? You don't know what they're in there, because any computer program is programmed by a human. Remember that. AI is programmed by a human. So remember that. And so it struggles. AI, one thing that it can't do is it struggles with things like human feelings, intuition, and creativity. Now, when a lot of my clients, they say that they work with me because I'm intuitive. And there's no way that that intuitiveness can come out from an AI writing. However, whenever I write in my voice, it can come out. And your creativity, and it's listening to your inner guidance whenever you're thinking about how you're interacting with your clients. You want to be you. Now, really, would you want, years ago, there was a show, The Stepford Wives. And so all of these wives were computer generated. They were robots to act a certain way, look a certain way, be a certain way. You don't want your children or your spouse or your best friend to be like that, do you? And know that your clients, your potential clients, they don't want that from you as somebody who might be able to help them solve their problems. And they want to be able to trust that you are a real human being with feelings, with creativity, with emotions, that you can actually guide them, and also from your own personal experience of being a human. So do understand that AI is not perfect. Number 2, do use AI tools to generate your outlines and streamline basic content. You can use AI tools. For example, I'm in the process of creating different videos that I'm going to be putting on Instagram. And what I wanted different characters. So I have the names of the characters. So I would put in ChatGPT, a 60-minute three-way conversation between negative Nancy, positive Polly, and Coach Cindy. And it gives me like these interactive words. Some of these words I would never ever use. Some of them I agree with. They have given me some really bright ideas, but I'm not using it verbatim. And that is what's very important. Is you don't want to use it verbatim, but you want to use it for the ideas. You want to use it to inspire, to spark your creativity. You don't want to use the AI tools to create the entire content. You can create outlines, you can create chapter names, you can create subtopics, you can create all kinds of stuff with it. A lot of times if I'm writing a blog post, the top 3 ways to be visible online, okay? I could actually put that into what I would put into ChatGPT is the top 10 ways to be visible online. Now I can pick and choose the 3 that resonate with me instead of trying to just copy everything that they say again verbatim. Number 3 is one of the most important things. Do not skip this step. It's so important. You want to edit and you want to fact check AI generated content. As I said, they're picking it up from everywhere, which means that they have a lot of false information as well as a lot of good information. So if they tell you studies show that 90% of the population has A positive blood, you want to go to Google and fact check it, and you want to find a reliable source like an EDU or .gov. I really like the EDU sites because they're more reputable. But also there's other reputable sites that I trust, Forbes, Prevention Magazine, some of the things that have been around for a long time. But I want to find the actual study that shows that. So I can say a study done by Penn State showed that 90% of the people in the US have A positive blood, right? I want to be able to prove that. So you want to fact check, so important, and you want to edit. And this way you can be assured that the content that you're putting online is good, it's factual, and most of all, it shows your personality. Because as I said earlier, Even though AI is capable of generating entire blog posts, landing pages, and images, doesn't mean that you should do it because it cannot replicate you. People who purchase your products and services do so because they're attracted to your personality. They believe that you can help them solve their problems. They're not just looking for information or content because they can find that everywhere. So, to attract your ideal clients, it's imperative that you put your personality inside of all of your content. So I hope you enjoyed and learned a few things. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to, you can reach me at wecare@cindyjholbrook.com and tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15, where I can help you step into who you are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits. Remember to go to visibilitychecklist.com and get your free checklist today. Big hug. See you next week. Bye-bye.